Amelia here, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a new sewing pattern review. Actually, I have two patterns to share with you today, two new patterns for me. One of them it was already for a long time in my stash, and the other one it was for a long time on my sewing wish list. So today from rainy Germany, if you hear a lot of rain, is outside, the weather is really terrible today, but I'm here inside, nice and warm, so I have a new video to share with you. If you are new to my channel, I want to remind you that on this channel you'll see sewing pattern reviews, sewing tutorials also, sometimes sew-alongs, and I think what makes this channel a little bit different than others is the fact that usually I'm using my own ways on putting stuff together and making the patterns, and not so much following the instructions, as I have in general my own ways of making stuff, and I do what I find that is working for me and what is more easier for me and faster. And you know, if you're sewing for a while, you find your own ways of doing stuff. So if you're interested in learning new things, push that subscribe button, notifications on, and you'll get notified when a new video is online on the channel. So let's get started. Today I have two patterns to share with you. The first one is going to be Simplicity S9451, this one, and the other one is DP Studio the LE004, these two. So I'm going to start with the Simplicity, as I'm wearing it already. And I just want to say, first of all, that everything started with the fabric. I got the fabric in the Minerva brand ambassador program that they have. You know that I sew a lot with their fabrics. And this one is the, I'm reading here from my tablet, is the Minerva Core Range Isabella Wool Jersey stretch knit fabric. I'm going to put a link here in the video description, and it's really a gorgeous fabric. They have it in, I think, in 7 colors, really beautiful colors. And next to the fact that the color is really nice, the fabric is really nice, it's really soft. It's a jersey with 20% wool, 72% rayon, I think, and 8% elastane. It's a really soft fabric, it's really nice to wear, and actually it's also really nice to sew. It went really easy on my serger and also on my cover stitch machine. For their monthly challenge, they have Minerva, they have now a challenge for tops. So I chose to make with this fabric. I knew that I would get this fabric. I chose to make this Simplicity pattern, but because I had a little bit extra fabric left, I was thinking, well, what is the best to do? Is going to be another top. So also, what is nice about this fabric is that it's a little bit wider than my usual fabrics. This was 1.70 m, which was really handy to use with DP Studio pattern, because this one, I have it here, is it's a batwing top, so it's a little bit bigger piece, which fitted perfectly on my white fabric. So on this one, I have it on. This is the Simplicity. I'm going to say that I cannot remember when I made for the last time a top or a dress or whatever with the Simplicity pattern. I think the last one was something for my daughter, a little dress or something like that. But anyway, when I saw this pattern out, I was so, oh, I want to have this one. This is so gorgeous. Those so they have 4 options, but actually there are 2 options for the bodice, and you have the option for a long sleeve, a normal fitted long sleeve, sleeveless, and a little bit wider sleeve here with a little bit of gathered with a little bit of elastic. So I was thinking, well, I want to oh, and the neckline is also different, because they give you also there are 2 different pieces for the front bodice. One is this one, where you have the gathers from the side and from the shoulder, and the other one has a bateau neckline with, and so this one is a little bit higher neckline, and the other one is more open, and it has the gathers only from the shoulder. I think is from this shoulder. So obviously, looking at this, I chose to make the covered one, and I am always thinking to look, and mostly I'm doing that. I'm looking beyond the first impression of sewing, of seeing nice fabric or gathers and stuff like that. But sometimes I'm, you know, I'm not. And if I'm watching better on this cover, I can see that this one has actually the same issues that I have with this top. I mean, the gathers are all nice and stuff, but I have my microphone here. But you'll see in pictures, I think, better. The thing is really starting to pull, and I have the feeling that I want to put it back in position and on my shoulders, and so it's a nice top. It's nice because I think the fabric is helping a lot. It's a really soft fabric and nice to wear, but I'm not sure if I'm going to make this one again, or maybe not in the combination with both gathers from the shoulder and the side. I think maybe only the other version from the shoulder might be nicer. What I want to share with you is also the sizing of this top. In the Simplicity patterns, if I was to choose my size as they have it on the chart, I should have made, for the bust, so the full bust, I should be a size 16 almost, with waist also 16, but because this pattern that I had, it went only to 14, and I knew that mostly 16 is way, I'd never made a 16 because I know it's too big. I went with size 14, so I made the size 14 test garment. I really didn't want to ruin my nice jersey. So this is it, and I'm going to put it on for a moment, and you are going to see this is a size 14, so it's already a size smaller than the one that is required, or that is I should have based on the size chart. So I'm going to put this on, and you are going to see my fit problems. Okay. So I have now my test garment on. Of course, it's not hemmed, and the sleeves are short because I did not have enough from this fabric. This fabric, which is really, really nice, actually, is from the, you know, I used this one for the wrap dress I made a while ago, you know, the sew along for the, what was the name? Oh my god, I'm so bad at names. Anyway, so this is the garment, the test garment that I made for the Simplicity 9451. Well, I don't know if you can see, but this feels like really, really huge. I mean, this is already a size smaller than I should have, but as you can see here, how much fabric I have here. I mean, it's really a lot. You can see I can grab it with my whole hand. So based on how this was fitted, and I had also a little bit of a sway back problem, but that's something that I have usually in my patterns, or in the stuff I'm making. So if I'm watching to this, I see that she has a nice waist here definition, so the top is not supposed to be so wide. So based on this, I decided, and I watched a little bit how the grading is on the pattern, on the tissue. I decided to make a size 10. So I just traced on my pieces a size 10, and I cut it. And this is what I used for my own, for my final version. What I changed in making this pattern, I did make obviously the long sleeve on this one. I cannot remember, I think I did not cut anything from the sleeve. I did not shorten the sleeve. But what I did change was the pattern itself. It has two facings, or a facing to front and back. And in the back you have the back panel is cut with the center back seam, because they make a slit there with a little button to make it open at the neck. But then I'm wondering, I mean, the thing is made to be made with jerseys and stuff like that, with fabric that have a lot of stretch. So I did not bother to do that, because also on this one I had it and I knew that it's going to stretch. What is important, so I made my straight back adjustment on the pattern and then cut it on the fold. And also the facing, I just folded the 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, and also the back facing was cut on the fold to have one piece, so without any opening in the back. But what is important when doing that, if you are thinking to do that, is of course to sew your facing to the top with a zigzag stitch, or as I did directly with my serger, because like that I still have the stretchiness in that seam here at the neck. Something else that I did change, so again I ended up making a size 10 instead of the 16 that I should have made. But don't think now that if you want to make this top, just jump 4 sizes smaller and you'll be okay, or 3 sizes. Don't do that. I think maybe it's better to measure your pattern and think a little bit in advance, or make just a small test garment from a piece of jersey with shorter sleeves. You should put sleeves, because like that you get a good fit idea here at the bodice and at the back. So the change was to cut the back on the fold, the back facing also on the fold, sew it with a stretchy stitch, to have a stretchy seam here at the neck. And I also, because I noticed, okay, so this was also in this big size, it was also the fact that the shoulders, they were somewhere far away from my shoulder bone, and to be sure that they will stay anyway here, even if this was a smaller size, I also added some clear elastic in the back of the shoulder seam, as I usually do in this kind of tops or dresses that I sew with rayon jersey or cotton jerseys and stuff. So that was the change. Again, I think this size is good, the 10. I'm going to put some pictures here, maybe you can see it better than with this line. The hem of the sleeves and the bottom hem are done with the cover stitch machine. This worked really well. But again, I do have mixed feelings about this top, as I do have the feeling that it wants to, I mean, if I'm watching this one that is the bigger size, maybe I don't have that pulling so much, as it has how should I say, space to hang here without stretchy. But then again, it's really too big, and I think maybe make a 14 and take, but this is so much fabric to take away on the size. I don't know if this was a better solution. But anyway, this is going to be worn a lot. I'm going to learn living with those strange pullings. So for the second part of this video, for the second pattern, as I said, I have the DP Studio LE004. I have quite a few of their patterns. This is so the 004. I have this really cool top that I really want to make. This is the 005, I think, the 5005. Sorry. I have this gorgeous dress, which can be also made as a top, and also a really cool pair of pants that they have some really nice details, also on my list to make, and a really nice hoodie. As you can see, they are all new, they still need to be made. This blouse that I did sew a lot of them on the internet, and another sweatshirt, and I have also here something for my husband, a jeans jacket. I was very excited to buy it when it came out, but he said he don't want another jeans jacket, so I'm going to wait until he's going to say that he wants a new jeans jacket that I'm going to make. And I even have, I think this one was the first pattern. It's a book that they came with the fashion couture with 12 patterns, really cool tops. Really interesting designs with nice how should I say, with nice illustrations that you can really see. I mean, the book is in French, but it's really easy to understand. So I have a lot of their patterns, so I was thinking I did have a little bit more fabric from this navy jersey from Minerva, so I was thinking, what should I make, what should I make, and finally I got to make this one. This pattern is already, I have it already for a year in my stash, and it's already pretty old, I think, since it got on the market. But I was, before I bought it, I was convinced always that these ones here, these splits, that there are holes, but there are no holes in this pattern. It's a really interesting way of folding and stuff that is making this nice detail here. So, being my first time sewing with this company, I did check a little bit their size chart that is on the pattern, and based on this I decided that I need a size 42. You know, it's really difficult to decide on this, but I knew that there is a lot of ease. There are gathers here in the front, there are gathers here in the back, and actually the only thing that is fitted is the waistband. So with this in mind, I did take a look at the pattern pieces. It's actually a really easy and pretty fast top to make, and so the pieces are getting cut on the fold, the back and the front, and also the waistband is cut. Of course, you need to take care to cut it with the greatest stretch going around the body, but the underside is also on a fold cutted. So that needs to be, that must be really you need to be careful if you want to make this, because the stretch needs to go around the body, so don't put it on the fold on the length grain, because then if you don't have enough stretch, it's not going to fit. So this is the size 42 waistband. This is exactly as it was in the size chart, but when I got to trace the pattern, I was looking at the amount that it was going to be gathered in the front here, also in the back, and I was thinking, well, I don't think my jersey, I mean, this is pretty thin, but I was sure that it's going to be really too much of the gathers, and you know, when it's too much gathered, the fabric is too much gathered, then you start to get those waves and stuff. So to avoid that, I traced at the waist. I started with a size 34, so the smallest size what they had, the S, from here at the waist, where I knew that is going to be to get the gathers, and then finally blending back to a 42. So that was really important, because I know from previous experiences that if you have a lot of fabric to gather, doesn't matter who, I mean, it does matter, but I'm talking mostly about knit fabrics, then you get those ugly waves, and because the fabric that you need to gather to is really going to stretch to accommodate that. So I had that in mind from previous experiences, so I reduced a little bit the fabric that it was to be gathered in the front and the back by starting with a size 34 and going back to a size 42. The pattern is getting finished with the facing here in the back. In the back and the front on the neckline, it has a facing, but I was thinking I need to take my interfacing out to interface they advise to interface it with the knit interfacing, of course, to keep a little bit the stretch of the fabric. So to make it easier for me, I just cut a strip of fabric. I think it was maybe 1 inch or a little bit more than 1 inch wider. I just stitch it with a serger around the neckline. I did cut it a little bit smaller than the length of the neckline, and then quarter it and stitch it on the garment, wrap it around the seam allowance, and then stitch in the ditch with a chain stitch on my cover stitch machine. Really very easy to make, and actually it still has that stretchiness because the chain stitch is not as rigid as a straight stitch on the sewing machine. So this was really easy to make. But I was thinking that because I didn't use the facing, my neckline is actually 1 centimeter higher than the one that it should be according to the pattern, because I also wrapped my binding over, so I still have all that centimeter that was the seam allowance of the original pattern to use with the facing. So if you make this, you should keep in mind that this should be much opened, but I think this is perfect like this. So it was I was lucky not to realize that in the beginning. So I did not have a test garment for this. So when I finished my neckline, before I made the hem for the sleeve, I was thinking, well, I need to try this on to see how it's looking. The waistband is perfect, as I said. Also the length, I did read some people, they found this top short, but I think on me it's really perfect. I did not do any sway back adjustment or other kind of adjustments. But I must say that the sleeves were pretty long and they're also very wide. And I'm thinking that in a pattern like this, if you have a wide sleeve, then also long, then it's looking really frumpy. So I have here the pattern. I did not cut yet because I want to you can see better if it's not cut. I did make only the change. So let's see. This is the front, I guess. No, this is the back, based on the how this is shaped here, the edge at the waist. This is the back, and you can see here how much I did take off in the end. So I shortened the sleeve by 5 centimeters, and then I used 3.5 centimeters for the hem. So this 5 went away, so it was really long, and I think I could have taken maybe 1 centimeter even more. And to bring the sleeve in a little bit more fitted on my arm, I think this is, I took off 1 inch of the width of the sleeve and then blended it back, as you can see here. So this is the change that I made, but this width of the sleeve I just decided based on the garment when I had it on. I just pinched it, and then I was thinking, well, I'm happy with this, so I'm going to use this. So 1 inch from the width of the sleeve and 5 centimeters from the length, and I think that is perfect now. I'm really happy with this. I mean, it's a really it's really easy to make. I did trace the pattern yesterday, and then with a little bit between other stuff sewing, I finished it. It is really nice, fast top to make. And this is how the printed pattern is looking from this company. Is they don't have a lot of sizes. It's from 34 to 48 European sizes, and so it's printed like this. You can trace your pattern, and then also on the same sheet they have also the instructions, as you can see, and they give also a cutting diagram here, and the instructions are in French and in English. In English the translation is a little bit strange on some things, but on the top like this is actually it's really easy to make. I mean, it's only the side seams, the upper sleeves, that little detail is getting folded and then gathers and stuff, so it's really easy to make. And I really love the packaging. I mean, you get a really nice box, and if I'm watching here, so I got this send it to Germany, and I think, I don't know if it was also the taxes, they were really not so high, and I did get all these patterns on their when they had sales, because like this I don't feel really guilty if I don't get to make them immediately, you know. Like that is an excuse. So this was the LE004, a batwing top, really nice with nice details. I'm going to put some pictures here, maybe you can see it a little bit better. Again, the weather was really not cooperating today, so I did some pictures inside. So there you have it, my two new tops in a beautiful jersey from Minerva. So I got to use two new patterns from me. One is it's okay, but this one I'm really excited about it, the LE004, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to make more of them, and definitely I'm going to try more of their patterns. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some I don't know, some insight of these two patterns if you are considering making them, or if you are considering this gorgeous fabric from Minerva. It's really nice, and I'm thinking that this would work really nice also with making the what is the name of that jumpsuit that everybody is making, the one that I also made from Deer and Doe, the I'm going to remember, and I'm going to put a text somewhere in the video here probably. But for that knit jumpsuit, I think this fabric is really nice. Maybe making it with a longer sleeve also for the colder days could be a really great idea. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me thumbs up if you like the video, and I hope to see you soon with new videos. Take care, bye.